everyone, and welcome back. So today, I'm actually in my home office. I'm not in another country right now, although I probably will have been using my passport a little bit more when this comes out. So today I want to talk about hostels though. As well as the vlogs, I want to start doing more videos like this to camera. Whether I'll be in my office or not is probably unlikely, but I want to do more videos that aren't just the vlogs, that kind of give you more tips and tricks or ideas on the kind of things that I do, why I do them, the kind of things that you could do when you're abroad, best countries, anything like that. I want to try and do a bit more of that as well as my normal vlogs as well, and upload a bit more this year. I'm going to be traveling just as much as normal, but I'm going to make sure my camera is in my hand a little bit more this year as well. So today we're going to talk about hostels. Hostels that many of you will realise I absolutely love. If you've watched any amount of my videos, I'm almost always in a hostel. Not always, not always. Obviously, I've been in tents in the middle of a desert. I have been on boats that are also hotels. I've been in all sorts of different things, but hostels are really where my heart is at for many different reasons that I want to go into today. So the first thing to mention about hostels, obviously, is let's say they've come from humble beginnings. Now, the big thing about hostels that so many people get wrong is everyone has in their minds a lot that hostels are this kind of seedy thing out of a Hollywood movie. I know there's plenty of people that are thinking of them that are kind of dodgy, where people are getting kidnapped and things like that. That's not what a hostel is. Now, that's not to say that there aren't unsafe places in the world, that there aren't unsafe places to stay in the world. But to blame hostels full stop for that and to assume that all hostels are bad and dangerous and everything else is just blatantly wrong. You can get incredibly nice hostels that are just as safe, if not safer, just as nice, if not nicer, than some of the swankier hotels nearby. There's just a different vibe that comes with hostels. Obviously, this isn't just one type of thing. Now, obviously, they started out as a kind of way of keeping travellers safe, being a safe haven. And that's kind of been the point as well. They actually started as somewhere to be safe, but yet got the reputation, again, because of Hollywood movies, of not being safe. But that's how they started. They were a safe haven, especially for young travellers going away. And they've evolved now into like vibrant social spaces, and they cater for a completely diverse crowd. Now, obviously, you have different types. So you've got your boutique hostels. You'll see me in one of these in an upcoming video, either a week or a couple of weeks after this video comes up, where I'm staying in a boutique hotel, and that is very much a kind of laid back vibe. That's kind of, you just chill out on the sofa, watch a movie, have a wild tea and chat to the person behind the desk. That is very much the kind of vibe you'll get with a boutique. You can stay, have a private room, have aircon, nice little ensuite, just as much as you would do in a hotel, no different, except for the fact that it's a quarter of the price. And that's what a boutique hotel kind of is. But then, of course, on the flip side, if anyone has seen my video in Bratislava, Slovakia, which if you haven't, pause this, go into another tab, open it up, go watch that. You'll enjoy it. That is much more of a party vibe. The place I was staying there, it was a sister hostel, and that is a party vibe. There were pub crawls every single night. That is what those hostels were for. And that's why they were sister hostels, because one was a party one was kind of adjacent, half party, half not, to give you that kind of option. But obviously, the thing is that if you're new to hostels or there's these different places, how do you even kind of choose which is right for you? Now, obviously, like many things with properties, it's location, location, location. So being close to the action can save you time and money on transportation, obviously. But you don't just want to book the first hostel you find. You can look into the reviews and get more of a feel for the place. look for comments on the cleanliness, the safety, the atmosphere that you get there, and what they offer as well, the kind of amenities, and they can range from all sorts. Now, free Wi-Fi is the kind of standard. I've got to say, I have not yet been into a hostel that doesn't have free Wi-Fi, and I've been to hostels in 3 different continents, specifically in terms of hostels, and they all have had free Wi-Fi. But obviously then, breakfast or on-site bars and laundry facilities and things like that, it could be what you're looking for. But if you're choosing the right hostel for you as well, you might not necessarily want to be in the centre of town because you're not looking for that kind of party vibe with the pubs there and things like that. You might not want that kind of touristy thing. You might be doing it so that you can go out on day trips and so you can do other things. And in that case, it may not be that you want to be in town and save money on transportation because you're going to be going out all over the place anyway. You may not really care about that. The amenities for you may be, well, you need free Wi-Fi to check on those trips you're taking. You want to make sure that you've got a nice breakfast because you're going to load up for the morning, but you might not care about an on-site bar. You may care about the laundry facilities because let's say you're going mountain climbing for the day or doing something out and about in the bush. Well, then maybe you'll want to make sure that you can clean the clothes that you thought you'd be having for a couple of days. And that's something that's really important for you. So check on that as well. So it's knowing the kind of what vibe hostel you want. And I think that's your starting point before you start looking at everything else. What do you want? Do you want to party? Do you want to chill out? Do you want a bit of both? And then you can start looking into, okay, so now I know that. How do I choose it? Right, let's look at amenities. Right, what do I want to do with it? And then you can go from there. Obviously, the other thing you need to also know when you get into these, because you're not the only person in the hostel, and unlike a hotel, you can't really just go into the room and disappear. Now, you can to a point. If you've got a private room, you kind of can. But in hostels, you're going to interact with people. That's kind of the point. It's the main reason I go into them. So knowing a bit of hostel etiquette is always important. Now, you're going to be sharing space with strangers. That's unavoidable. Even if you have a private room and you're in a boutique hostel away from everything and it's chilled out, you're still probably, the lounge is going to be shared space. The main kitchen may be a shared space. You're still going to have to interact with people there. And having that interaction with strangers means that you've got to kind of respect those common areas. And again, keep noise maybe to a minimum. If it's a party hostel, probably don't need to worry about it. But if you've chosen the other path and you're in a boutique hostel, then certain times there's probably listed on the walls of when to do your cooking, when to come in and out and things like that. You've got to be aware of the fact that this is a shared space much more than a hotel. But again, that's part of it for me. It is social. That's why I use hostels. That's that big thing. I could go in hotels all over the place, but one, I don't like to do that because I don't like to be a tourist. And I think that's kind of one of the things that makes you into a tourist in a lot of these places is that you are simply going, oh, I'll go into this room that looks exactly the same because it's the same kind of one I've stayed in back home. And then I'll go to the monuments and then I'll go home. Whereas if you're in a hostel, you chill out, you meet different people from all over the world. No two hostels are the same. Even twin hostels, they're going to be a little bit different. And then you go and do different things. So that is the important thing for me there. But obviously you need to know how to interact with those people because if you're going to be making memories with strangers, you want to make sure that you're not annoying those strangers as well. Obviously, security is part of this. I mean, most hostels are going to offer you lockers, so make sure you bring a padlock. That's always something to remember. I mean, sometimes my stay in Helsinki, your key card for the door was actually open to the lockers as well. Very modern there. But padlock's always a good thing, and that's something to remember in terms of etiquette as well. You don't just leave your stuff all over the place because you're sharing, potentially, if you're in a dorm room, which most of the time I would be and many people would be for cost saving, you're in there with 4 to 18 other people. You don't really want to just throw stuff all over the place. And it just gives you a peace of mind as well, so you can actually focus on making memories with other people, not worrying about the fact that you don't entirely know who these people are right now anyway. And obviously, talking about making memories, hostels are social, okay? So this is the thing to remember. And this also may be part of how you decide on using hostels, what kind of room you want in a hostel. Because most hostels will offer a private room. Or a room for two. Now these aren't always the best. It depends on what kind of hostel, where you are in the world, and things like this. But you're probably looking at interacting with people more often. So trying to make sure that you're not as shy and retiring. Try and get out there. It may just be that hey, I'm going for dinner tonight. Does anyone want to join me? Now you can use apps for this as well. Like Hostel World app is a great one. Because you can be, if you're someone that's a bit more of an introvert and this is something you're doing to come out of your shell, you can use the app as a kind of starting point for that. You can use the app and go, hey guys, I'm having dinner tonight. Does anyone want to come and hang out and we can have drinks afterwards? And it's not too bad that way. But it is something to remember that you're making memories here. So, strike up a conversation with people. You've got a common room there. Join an event for the hostel because a lot of hostels will have something every day. Like I say, in Bratislava, you have something every night. In Helsinki, in hostels there, you tend to have things every night, especially during the summer months. Even if you're in, say, Netherlands or in Morocco or something like that, you do have things that are open and events there. And you can team up with new friends all the time. And you can make a friend when you're out drinking the night before and be like, hey guys, what do we do tomorrow? Let's go out. I've done it many times. When I was in Essaouira last time, I met people from the US, from Philippines, and we went for dinner. We had a little exploration of the further afield parts of the town, and it is brilliant because you get perspectives, you get views, and you get things that you're doing that you wouldn't normally do, and that's so good. That's the best thing about hostels. You're not stuck to the tourist path. You're not stuck to just the way that you see things. You see it through other people's eyes as well. And you're making those memories. That social hub is amazing. So also, if you're traveling solo, hostels are a gold mine for some kind of companionship and like insider travel tips. If you're, somebody that's brand new to traveling, like this is your first time abroad, and you're bumping into somebody like myself who travels all over the place, especially in hostels, then you might find a tip about the country that you're in, about the city you're in, or about how to get some flights for cheaper. Or it might be a local that you're interacting with who can teach you about something. Because, hey, I learn something from people all the time when I'm in hostels. It's an amazing place to do that. And as a solo traveller, it can be really, really good. And I think, when you're doing that, hostels, some people view hostels as just being cheap. And yeah, they are. They're very cheap. I've stayed in hostels that had breakfast included for £4 a night. And the breakfast was actually very good and was big enough to make some food for lunch as well. Like you can do that, and it can be an amazing hostel. But it's not just about that. For me, it's far more about the excitement, meeting new people, getting some kind of companionship when you're on a solo trip and, just chilling out, seeing things from a different perspective can be amazing. Obviously, some of you may be now wondering, well, what do I actually pack then for a hostel? Because I pack differently. When I'm going to a hotel, I take 3 suitcases and I have something if I'm going out for a nice meal. And think smart and think compact if you're going to a hostel. Essentials, obviously, I don't really mind people snoring because I sleep too deeply, but earplugs are probably a good idea. A travel towel. Now, a lot of places do include them, but it's not a bad idea. You can get emergency towels, which aren't great, but they're good for one use. You can get them from Temu and places like that. Maybe even like some kind of sleeping liner or something, just for an extra bit of comfort. But the essentials, I think, can be very slimmed down for a hostel. Especially because you're not necessarily staying in a hostel for a month or so. You might be going around the country, staying in a new one every week. And depending on how you've chosen the hostel, as we spoke about earlier, they've got laundry facilities and that's important to you. You may not need that much clothing. You may just want a lot of space for things you're going to pick up in the country. So then you've got to book the place, right? Now you've got, right, okay, I'm doing this. I'm partying. I want laundry and I've packed everything that I think I'm going to need. Okay, I've got on the app so that I'm ready to talk to people and interact. Great. Oh God, I've got to book somewhere now. So, like I've said, big platforms such as Hostel World, obviously Booking.com as well. They can offer like a wide range. But my favourite is Hostel World. I mean, booking directly can sometimes save you a few pounds, but honestly, I use Hostel World, and this is not, there's no kind of ad here, it's not anything for Hostel World. I just tend to use it personally. It's what I personally use. And the reason I do is because it has that app in it that means you can chat to people in the hostel, and you can chat to people in the city that you're in as well. And beyond that, there's also tends to be like additional chats that you can enter that say like party or dining or whatever, they're in the same city, so you can join them for specific things or events or whatever, and it can really bring you out of your shell. You can meet people like-minded in the certain chats. I think that's a really good one. That's why I do that rather than go directly. I mean, spontaneity is obviously part of the traveler's spirit, but booking ahead to a point, I wouldn't advise being in the city and then going, oh, let's go to a hostel, let's look on Hostel World, because you may end up with the lowest rated hostel you've ever seen. So book it before you leave. Yeah, I mean, the spontaneity and hostels are things like that, but hostels do work the same as a hotel would. So peak seasons especially, think of it being wise and go with that. But remember, hostels aren't just about saving money. They're about enriching your travel through community. You share stories, you pick things up. So, the next time you're planning a trip, next time you think about traveling in any way, I would absolutely advise that you think about hostels. Hostels can be so enriching for so many reasons. I've gone through so many things and probably waffled on, I'm sure a few of you are thinking, but I would absolutely think of going to hostels. It can also mean, depending on how you've got your tickets for where you're staying, it may also mean that, I can take an extra week here and we'll go out to the country next door. Like we'll get a flight or we'll get a train and travel over to the next country, and you can discover something even more because you've saved so much money on doing the hostel. Like for instance, if you're somebody that just, I like a hotel. Hotel it's safe. I get this, I get that, I get this. Okay. If you stay in a boutique hostel in a certain place, you'll get towels there that are supplied. You'll get a very nice shower and toilet, en suite. You'll get your aircon. You'll get a very nice double bed, and you'll get a wardrobe. You'll get a sofa. You'll get all these things, and you're paying £20 a night, not £100. It's kind of a no-brainer. Now, obviously, yeah, you've got a bit more interaction there, but if you don't plan on actually cooking at any point or watching a film there, you could use it like a hotel. Now, I always think chatting to people in the hostel is the best bet, but you do have that option as well. Hostels have so much to offer, and they are overlooked so often by people when they're traveling, and I think we need to bring back the kind of traveling spirit to go to hostels and actually enjoy your stay, live a bit more spontaneously, think about maybe changing up one country to a party one country to a boutique one country a bit in between, one country just something random that you found, and take in everything. Let everything enrich you. Let the people around you enrich you, and you will have a lot better time. And those unplanned wonders that you actually find will be with you for the rest of your life. So I hope you've found something in that. You've taken something from the video today. Again, I probably waffled on. I tend to do that anyway. Anyone that's seen my videos when I'm in another country, I do that. But hopefully you can take something from it. And hopefully next time, if you leave it around here, I might find you in one of those hostels in a random country in the future. But I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you again next time.